Hey Knightdale, I'm your Public Information Officer, Jonas Silver. On Wednesday, November 25th, 2020 at 5 p.m., Governor Cooper's Executive Order 180 went into effect and remains in effect until December 11th, 2020 at 5 p.m. We understand that with all the changes over the past 9 months, it's been sometimes hard to keep up with where we are and what requirements are in place. So we've compiled some important information from Governor Cooper's frequently asked questions for you. Face coverings are required in all indoor settings if there are non-household members present, regardless of distance. When visiting public outdoor settings like a park or a trail, you must wear a face covering if you are unable to maintain 6 feet of social distance from non-household members. This includes events like parades, festivals, and fairs. You are not required to wear a face covering when alone, at work, indoors, or outdoors. The mass gathering limit remains at 10 for indoor settings and 50 for outdoor settings. Late night alcohol sales are still prohibited from 11 p.m. until 7 a.m. For amateur and youth organized sports, face coverings are always required indoors for all players and spectators who are at least age 5. All workers, adults, and children 5 years and older are required to wear a face covering when on site at all childcare and educational facilities. If you are attending an indoor social event at a friend's home with non-household members, face coverings are required. When traveling in a personal vehicle with household members, you are not required to wear a face covering. Individuals traveling in a personal vehicle with non-household members are required to wear a face covering. This includes ride shares, even if the vehicle is privately owned. When using public transportation, if you don't wear a face covering, you may be denied entry. Face coverings are now required when you are exercising in an indoor gym and in restaurants at your table, unless you are actively eating or drinking. Retail businesses are required to have all workers and guests wear face coverings and can refuse service if you are not wearing a face covering. Retail business locations with more than 15,000 square feet of interior space must have a worker at each public entrance responsible for enforcing the executive order's face covering and emergency maximum occupancy requirements. There are certain exceptions to the face covering requirements, including a medical or behavioral condition or disability. A child is under 5 years of age. When you are actively eating or drinking, if you are seeking to communicate with someone who is hearing impaired in a way that requires the mouth to be visible, if you are giving a speech for a broadcast or to an audience, if you are working at home or in a personal vehicle, if you are temporarily removing your face covering to secure government or medical services for identification purposes, or if you would be at risk from wearing a face covering at work as determined by local, state, or federal regulations or workplace safety guidelines. Face coverings are a low-cost and highly effective tool in the fight against COVID-19. The Center for Disease Control recommends community use of face coverings since face coverings block the release of respiratory particles into the environment and can also reduce the wearer's exposure to infectious droplets. Whatever your reason, get behind the mask. Knightdale cares.